Hey everyone, I just wanted to go over the food reconciliation form and the sales accounting that backs it up that we did not get to go over in class on Monday. Just looking at this, I want to set up the numbers that you see on the screen now. The portions on hand and portions prepared, those come directly from the menu mix page 2 work that we did in class that we did get to finish in there. That's why those are in black. The given numbers to you already on your form are the ones in blue, the additional prep, the leftovers, the portions sold, and the voids. Those are all already given to you. When I input the numbers into the remaining columns, they'll be in red. So that just kind of gives you an idea on what's what. Is kind of our key or our a legend for understanding why the colors are different. So again, just to set this up, when we look at this reconciliation sheet, really this is what it would look like if we had paper checks, right? So if our point of sale system does this, then it'll often tell us why some of these things happen and answer some of the questions for us. But again, for instance, just looking at this would be if we were using paper checks. So we've brought all of the information over for each of our foods for the kitchen production sheet there, portions on hand and portions prepared. Again, we brought that over from page 2 of the packet that we had in class on Monday. Sorry. So looking at what we have here, what we're looking at just for the cheeseburger purposes here, we see that we have 0 portions on hand, and we have prepared 215 in the night. Again, this is reconciliation, so this is what we've done and completed at the end of the night. Okay, this is not forecasting, this is actual production. Okay, so looking at it, we prepared 215 and required 3 additional preparation items there. And it could have been that we had more people order, obviously, than we intended. So instead of just 86 in it and closing it down for the night, we decided, you know what, we are going to make a couple of extra cheeseburgers, and they were sold. So if we do that, the total available that we had for the night was 218. We didn't have any leftovers, so again, during the night we made 3 extra and we sold those 3. So our portion consumed would be 218. Okay, so that's how we're looking there. And if you want to pause and go ahead and start working through the rest of this on your own, you can. But I'm just going to kind of go through and talk it through and do it again myself. So portions prepared for the fried chicken, we did 168. Again, for whatever reason, that might be that we had additional prep that you're looking at 168, and then we had 9 more, so that gives us 177. So just remember when we do this, that middle ground there where we're trying to provide any additional prep that we have in terms of again, what we decided we were going to do, and then we needed more due to forecasting, either an error or more tables that night, or more people just chose than the percentage says. Again, nothing is exact when it comes to our menu. That gives us 177, and again, we did well, no leftovers there. Gives us 177. All right, so when it comes to our spaghetti and meatballs, we already had 7 on hand, and then prepared the 87, so that gives us 94. But if you look here at the end of the night, we had 8 leftovers. Okay, so those may be 8 that we can use for tomorrow that turn into portions on hand. Again, let's hope that's the case. But with that, we would subtract the leftovers to get our portions consumed. So 94, 8 leftovers, that's going to give us 86 portions consumed. Same kind of thing is happening here with the tuna steak. We had 2 portions on hand, and we prepared 66 of those. So that would give us 68 available. We had a few leftovers, right? So that gives us down to 64 portions consumed. Okay. Seafood pasta could have been, we didn't have any on hand. We prepared 80 and required 2 extra. Okay, so that gave us 82, but then with the 1 left over, sends us down to 81 actual portions consumed. Okay, and then pork chops, we had 10 on hand. We prepared 88. That gave us 98 total available. We had 6 leftovers. Okay, so that gives us 92 portions consumed. All right, so if you want to pause it there, you can to work through before you move on to sales accounting. So now for the sales accounting roll up here again, and remember this is if we had paper checks. So some of this what we talk about, we'll discuss the paper checks. For total output, again, if you look on page 194, figure 12.4, it gives you the formula for that. So the formula for that is portions sold plus voids for the total. So that's 218 here. Okay. Now, if we look at portions consumed, that comes from above. Okay, so that's what we bring down from the previous the form up there. So that would be 218. Okay, so the difference in those two, 218 and 218, is 0. So all worked out well for our cheeseburgers. We did have a few voids there, so we would want to investigate any type of void. To make sure that they're not just voiding things out. When it comes to this, you don't want theft to be an issue. So if the same person continues to void out things after we've prepared, or after menu items have been taken to tables and things like that, then we really want to investigate it. But for the purposes of this cheeseburger, we had 218 out, 218 consumed. Okay. Fried chicken, we're going to have a little bit of a discrepancy here, but 176 portions sold with 2 voids gives us 178. Well, we noticed that we had 177 consumed. So your question is, when we look at consumed minus total output, you're thinking, well, what in the world can happen here? We actually were 1 below. How does someone consume less than the output? And again, that could be that you made the wrong thing, or again, it was possibly returned to the table, or something like that, or something, basically in those one of those few things. Then if we just fill in the rest of the bay here, total output is going to be 88. Portions consumed were 86. Again, on the meatballs, we realize there was a difference there. If the number is positive, so like this one is 0, but when we look down at the seafood pasta, we get 80, but we actually had 81 consumed. Whenever the number's positive like that, typically what it is a missing check that wasn't turned in. It could be your server lost a check or something like that, where we go back at the end of the night and we count up the number of seafood pastas and we only get 80. But we know based on our kitchen production sheet that 81 were prepared. We're looking for the other one. Typically, that's what happens there. And then as we finish up with our pork chops, 92 and 92 were consumed, give us 0. If you look back at page 192, starting with page 192, 12.5.2, mishaps and sales reconciliation, that ends on page 194 with that figure 12.4. Read through that. It gives you some good information about the void sheet. Calls it sometimes a mishap report. And again, a lot of times you're required to put that information in a point of sale system, but when you're using paper tickets to order food from the kitchen and have it prepared, it can be a little more difficult. But filled in, this is what it should look like for your food reconciliation form, which is your kitchen production and your sales accounting. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know.